Hi everybody. So on today's video, I figured we would go ahead and start talking about some Father's Day cards. I'm using this One Sheet Wonder template. I will have links down below to the website where I found it. And this is for when using 6x6 paper. So one sheet of 6x6 paper will create 4 cards. All right. So I'm using this Kaiser Craft, and it is the factory. You know what? I say this every time, but I swear to you, I do not plan to not have the paper pad in front of me when I'm doing these videos. But I want to say it's Factory 42 or something like that. And what we're going to do is I'm using this one for my One Sheet Wonder, and these 2 sheets I'm going to use for our base, basically. So I'm cutting these down to 4 by 5 1/4, and that'll give me 2 sheets. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one. All right. And then those are what we're going to build up on top of. And then for this sheet, the first cut I'm going to do is to take it from because Kaiser Craft papers are 6.5 by 6.5. So I first trimmed it down to 6. And then the first cut was 2 inches. And the length of it was 5 1/4. And then on this one, I've cut it down to basically, I think it's 4 by 6. And then we're going to do a 2 inch. And then the square, which is 4 by 4, we're going to tilt it on an angle so that the points are going right down the middle. And once I have it lined up, you'll have 2 triangles. Perfect. So for putting this card together, I decided to use the Distress Ink Black Soot, and I'm just going around all my edges for the base card. The only thing I didn't do, I want to say, all of the decorative pieces that I have to the side that are going to be like like if we were going to do a lace edge. I think I wind up going along them once I attach, uh, but you'll see here. I just line up and then I'm cutting what the extra is off. And the best part about Kaiser Crafts paper pads is that they have these extra elements at the back. So you have a ton of paper, and then you have tags, you have the borders and stuff like that. And doing that allowed me to create very similar to what the original lady did on her website, but have it still be masculine, Instead of using laces or ribbons and frilly stuff, I'm using these shapes, and even though they're kind of curvy and all that, they have more masculine elements, with the gears and the stripe patterns and stuff like that. So I think it still turns out pretty good. And then this one right here, we're going to go ahead and line that on the very edge. And then, of course, using the tape runner and then the art glitter glue to help, time it so I can still move stuff around. And anything that hangs over, I always flip it around and then, trim off the extra. All right, now for these two, this one I'm going to turn on the side, and then that one I'm going to leave vertical. And we're going to once again go around the 4 sides on all the pieces, even the base piece. Okay. I wish I could really move that fast. But of course I have sped it up just for the purpose of this video so it doesn't wind up taking us all day. But on here you're going to see I go and I start to put it down and I realize, oh no, I forgot the border. So thankfully, because of using the glue, I'm able to slip the actual border underneath, trim off the edges, and then I turn it so I can get to the underside and put a little bit more of the glue, trim off whatever else is hanging off the side, and boom, that one's done. And then same thing with this one, except I remember to attach it ahead of time. Added tape, some glue, and then make sure we have the paper facing the right direction. And then we're going to attach this one. And then same thing, do our trimming. And those are the fronts. Now, off camera, I'm going to actually wind up cutting this sheet up, so that way I have sentiments to put on the front of the cards. So now I've backed that main page that we set up, and I attached it to a card, and then I was going to tape it straight down, this one sentiment that we're about to do here, but I decided just to use some foam squares to give it a little bit of dimension. And we have the world's greatest dad. And then on this one, which is, let's see, have the world's greatest dad, you are the best. I also use foam dots on that one, foam squares, and put that right in the middle. And then on these two, these are the bigger ones, and instead of using the foam on these, I'm just using the tape runner and some of the glue. And of course that one just says Happy Father's Day. And then this one I thought was super cute. And it says, a father is someone you look up to no matter how tall you grow. I think that's cute. Alright. And then once we get these attached, of course I'm thinking, it's a guy card. You could put sequins, but I didn't want to put sequins. So I grabbed the black Nuvo drops, and I'm just looking for a piece of scratch to work out some of my dots. Because sometimes you do get air bubbles, and you don't want to have to deal with that when you're trying to get these put on. And you're going to see me on a couple of them. I do tap a little bit just to try and, if there's any peaks, if you tap it a little bit, it does kind of even out. And then the dome will stay a little bit higher too. Because I know I've said it before, but it does take like 24 hours for these to dry completely, especially depending on how big you make your dots. So 3 on the bottom. Now this one, I started thinking, well, there's not a whole lot of room at the bottom to just do 3. So I was going to do a bunch of different sizes, kind of spread out sporadically. And then in looking at the gears, I decided that I would also put some around those as well. And I try to keep mine in an odd number. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way. It's all about what you end up liking. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, once you look at it, if the even number is fine, then go with it. There's no law in creating, I think. I'm like, whatever makes you happy at the end is what you need to do. And then the person who receives it, they'll be grateful, and they're not going to care like, oh, you used 8 instead of 9. Yeah, no one's going to do that. So here we are. We have them all done. And I think they turned out great. And even though, like I said, you got these shapes where it's a little bit curvy and you would think, oh, maybe that's too feminine. I don't think they're feminine at all. And I like the fact that you got these gears, the metal accents, and then with the black Nuvo drops. I think these turned out pretty good. And they were super simple and fun. I love using the one sheet wonders. A lot of times I do a lot more with the 12 by 12 sheets, but if you have 6 by 6 pads and don't really know what to do with it, can you imagine how many cards you would get out of doing 4 cards per sheet? That would be a lot of card making. I'm just saying. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share button. I will have links to previous sketch videos at the very end. And this particular paper I think was out last year. So if it's in the boutique, like in the clearance album, I will click it down below. If not, I will try and find something as similar or as close that I could find and have that link down below as well. Okay. So thank you guys so much. If you do go and shop, make sure you use my coupon code TT15 and everything is listed down below. Thanks again, and I hope you have a great day.